Hi, everybody. It's meteorologist Joe Cioffi here on this Sunday morning. Good morning to you. And if you hear the vacuum go on, it's because I've got somebody painting here in the house. I just did an audio test, and I've gotten some word back that it seems to sound all right. And I checked it, and it seems to sound all right. I apologize for yesterday. Uh, I forgot. I basically just forgot. Is what the deal is. So we're going to take a look at what's going on this morning. We have a new tropical storm with Tropical Storm Chris. We still have Tropical Storm Beryl. So I'm going to do a quick update on this, and then this evening we'll get into a longer video with regards to where this is all going. I'm going to start off with the wide satellite view. And by the way, for those of you who are joining on, if let me know that the audio sounds okay, that would be great. So here we have it. Let me just make sure I got the nice wider view here. And you can see both Tropical Storm Beryl on one side, and you can also see Tropical Storm Chris on the other side. Chris on the upper left and Beryl on the lower right. These are satellite loops that you can find, by the way, at nhc.noaa.gov. And if you click on the data tab, you can pull down any satellite you'd like. Thanks. I'm just watching your comments right now at the same time. So here's the situation with regards to, whoops, sorry about that. I lost the window, so I can't really, there we go. Let me go back to this. Good. All right, so take a look, if you'll take a look at where Beryl is at the bottom of the screen, and look at to the west of that. You see those the clouds that are moving off of South America northward right through the Leeward Islands, and then you can also see the low-level clouds with the trade winds. Those clouds are moving westward. This is a beautiful illustration on the satellite view, which, with the GOES 16, you really can see this very well. These are the hostile wind conditions that this tropical storm is going to come into. It is already experiencing some increasing shear, and as a result, it has become a bit more disorganized, and it's moving westward. But once this storm hits this band of very, very strong southerly winds blowing those clouds from south to north, it's just going to rip the thing apart. It's just not going to be able to survive. The tops of the thunderstorms in the tropical storm will just be blown away and done. Now, when we look at Chris off the North Carolina coast, we can continue to see the convection expanding, and the circulation center is on the northern side of this expanding area of convection. So it did become better organized overnight. It's not in any, doesn't seem to be in any kind of rush to strengthen into a hurricane, but it is going to get there. Here is, see if I can get this on the loop here. We'll go back to Beryl here, and if you look, the circulation was exposed. It looks like it might have gotten a little tucked in the last few hours as some thunderstorms have been developing closer to the circulation center. But I got to tell you, look out just to the west of that, over the islands, and you can see that those clouds moving from south to north. That's that strong southerly shear, and once it gets in there, you can pretty much, I think, say goodbye to this. And here we have Chris on the visible, and even though those first few frames are dark, this is just a straight visible satellite. So you see it once the sun rises, but just really fast, you could see the low-level circulation on the northwestern side suddenly gets all the way tucked in underneath the thunderstorms that are developing. As far as weather conditions along the Carolinas are concerned, we do have some clouds going on, and they extend up almost to about Virginia Beach. But just north of there, skies are actually, from about Virginia Beach northward, skies are partly to mostly sunny. And as you head down southwest along the Carolina coast, the clouds thin out as well. I think at the end of the day, even though this system may wind up being a little bit further southwest over time, you're going to start to see this thing getting kicked out to the northeast. And here's why. Take a look at this jet stream that we got from the GFS. I think it really just pretty much sets the table here. We watched it evolve over the weekend. This first trough comes through here. This was Friday evening, and it moves out. So there was no opportunity for it to pick up the developing system off the southeast coast of the United States, nor do we have any flow to kick it out through Monday night into early Tuesday. But here's Tuesday afternoon, and you can start to watch the jet stream over the Northeast and over the Great Lakes. You see how it lowers and drops southward? That is the next trough that is coming down. And it basically, it's going to, at that point, Tuesday night and into Wednesday, it kicks it away to the northeast. It passes it well south and east of Cape Cod, but it does bring it, at least the GFS does, brings it right over Nova Scotia. Here's the surface view. And the other thing is, all the models do this, strengthening it to a hurricane. Now, one of the other outcomes from the overnight guidance, we'll see if that continues today when the new models start to pop up, is that the guidance envelope of plots of where the storm is have shifted a little bit to the southwest. Not enough to create a problem for the North Carolina coast. Now, whether it becomes a problem for the Canadian Maritimes, we'll see. But here's the GFS from last night, taking it northeast and actually gets it to a minimal hurricane status and then moves it right over Nova Scotia. And this would be on Thursday. So I think judging from the upper air, that possibility certainly exists that we could wind up seeing this thing track close enough to the coast that you get a hit into Nova Scotia and Newfoundland. How much of that holds together in terms of tropical characteristics is a whole nother matter. It probably will be making some kind of transition over into a post-tropical or extratropical cyclone. The European model, pretty much the same. In fact, if you notice how the jet stream, how far south it drops from tonight to Monday night to Tuesday night, you suddenly have westerly winds all the way down to southern Virginia. Takes it out maybe a bit further to the east than the GFS does, but still toward Nova Scotia and Newfoundland. So it's something we're going to be watching this afternoon and tonight, paying a particular close attention with regards to the guidance envelope. Now, before you ask, with respect to Beryl, in the longer range, on the GFS anyway, we did happen to see, that it kind of holds on to some kind of identity, and then it sort of gets involved with another weather system and that moves off the East Coast later this week, and then it brings it up and around. A, that is too far out in the long range. B, it's the only model that I didn't look at the Canadian. Actually, the Canadian also does the same thing. European doesn't really do very much with it. I'm not really all that impressed at this point with regards to whatever happens down out in the long range with Beryl. Chris is a little bit too, is close enough, and it's kind of front and center. So I'm going to be paying closer attention to that. As far as the weather's concerned for the rest of the day, it's looking really good here. Another beautiful start, blue skies and sunshine, and temperatures that are going to be up into the 80s. My audio is still cracking a little bit. Okay, let's. I'm going to lower it just a tad more. So hang on. I did notice that. The frustrating thing is trying to find the right level here. And let's see. Hopefully that does it a bit better. As long as you're not getting that, reverberation back and forth of multiple audio ports opened up, I'm okay with it. All right, so let's address Jimmy Anderson, no. you shouldn't. It should pass well to the east of Cape Cod, the way it looks right now. That trough would have to dig a little bit further to the west for it to be problematic for southeastern New England. The models have been fairly consistent so far. We'll see if that consistency continues today, but I'm not really too concerned for you. I got to see triple screen pausing at the right time. Oh, I don't know what that is, Delvin. I'm curious, Jason Schaefer will even still have advisories when it gets near Puerto Rico. Look, whether it does or it doesn't, I think it's not really that important. Jason, the bottom line is that at worst, I think, you're looking at some rain showers and gusty winds, which in the tropics is commonplace. And this still, even when it was at its strongest point, this hurricane was so small, it was basically a cluster of severe thunderstorms. You've seen bigger clusters of severe thunderstorms develop overhead here that have produced winds of 60 or 70 miles an hour in convective bursts. It just was a really, really tiny system. So it moves over Puerto Rico and they wind up with an inch or two of rain. I would venture to say that sometime since Hurricane Maria and now they've had tropical systems and even maybe some subtropical or non-tropical systems impact with rainfall amounts that would be similar. So I don't know how this would stand out to cause anything, any problems that they couldn't handle. The bottom line is if it's going to be in such a state that if you didn't know it was a tropical storm or hurricane at one point, you wouldn't know the difference. How long the northern jet is going to stay active? Certainly through the end of this week, this coming week. After that, a little bit of some question marks, but I tend to think that the northern jet's going to want to stay active going into the long range. Fallen Angel, thank you for reminding me. I will. I meant to ask someone who would really know about this sort of stuff well, and he hasn't been around, but I think he's back today, so I will send him a message. And I also have to get some information about a pollen count for the Hudson Valley for someone else. Thank you for reminding me. Greenfire 919. Tropical systems have made landfalls in Canada and Nova Scotia and Newfoundland over the years. So it doesn't happen every year, but it does happen, sure. Scott Olson, is there a chance of the low in Canada getting stronger and sucking Chris closer to us? The only way you would see this thing come up the coast straight up is you would have to have this next trough dig further to the west, and that means that the ridge that's in the western part of the United States would have to build further to the west to allow it to dig. That's not going to happen. I really don't think that's going to happen. All right, so you know what? Let's leave it at that. Thanks everybody for being here this morning, putting up with all the technical issues. I really appreciate it. We'll absorb all the data this afternoon, and we'll come back tonight sometime after 6 or 7 o'clock, and we'll update you on all the ongoing problems with these tropical systems and see where they take us. Chris, I think, is eventually going to become a hurricane, and it's probably going to have some impact for the beaches this week as the system moves away to the northeast. All right, just want to mention we're a participant of the Amazon Services LLC Associates Program, which is an advertising program designed to provide a means for us to earn fees by linking to Amazon and affiliated sites. So in other words, you go to Amazon via the link on this live stream or on the video when it's posted in the library, and you buy something, Amazon throws me back some coin, you get your stuff at great prices, and I get a little bit of a treat for myself. So I really appreciate those of you who have used the Amazon link. And don't forget to check the latest website posts on meteorologistjoecioffi.com. Have a great day, everybody. Enjoy the sunshine and the dry weather here in the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic states. And we'll see you later with all the latest on Chris and Beryl.